guess I'll just start from the beginning. It kind of started with Henry, was our fourth baby that we lost. And he was the catalyst of everything that we've kind of gone through so far. So we really owe a lot of it to Henry. We went the furthest in the pregnancy. We got about halfway, and we had just announced the gender, that it was a boy, and we were all so excited and had thought that this was it. And a few weeks after we announced the gender, we went to anatomy scan, and it was there that we realized that he was really small and that he may not make it. And a few weeks after that was when we discovered that there was no heartbeat, that he had passed. And it was really difficult, really frustrating, emotionally, physically, because we had to go through all the stages of delivering a baby. We had to go through the hospital. I had an epidural, and we did the whole 9 yards and left empty-handed, and it was really hard.
I think it's important to note, though, that although it was such a tragic experience, or at least it was supposed to be, it was amazing how peaceful it felt. I remember nurses coming in, or various hospital employees coming in and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." And when they would say that, it was like, "Oh yeah, we're supposed to be grieving, huh?"
Yeah, yeah, it didn't feel sad in the hospital. We had a lot of support from family and friends, and it was shortly after that, during our healing process, that we had decided it was probably time to turn to other sources, that we may not have this opportunity to carry our own child, and now's the time to maybe explore other avenues. And we weren't super interested in adoption at the time. At least I wasn't. Ethan was a little bit more on board than I was.
I always had kind of the ulterior motive. I wanted to do the foster care and stuff,
Yeah.
but Heather was a little bit slower to the game.
I was pretty hesitant, and it took a long time, clearly 4 losses, for me to finally come around and understand that this may be Heavenly Father's plan for us. So we decided to get licensed for foster care, and we kind of started off slow, did respite care for a family, and that was actually really hard. I feel like they threw us into the deep end a little bit with that, because we
3 kids.
3 kids under 3, and it was super hard for us.
It wasn't really starting slow.
No, it wasn't. It was short term, though.
Shortly after that, we took in our first actual placement,
Yep.
first long-term placement.
Yeah. And things went really well with him, and he returned home with his parents, which was really cool to see them work really hard to be able to receive him back. And once he was gone from our home, we had an opening in our home, and that's when we received Liam. And at the time, his name was Caden, and of course Ethan's brother's name is Caden, and it was very confusing, so we shortened his name to Cade.
She kept sweet-talking Caden, and it sounded like she was sweet-talking my brother, so we had to change it.
It did not go very well, so we changed his name to Cade. He came to us in the middle of the night.
I was 1:30, 2:30, I think it was 2:30.
Yeah, I think it was.
And we woke up to my phone going off, and
I did.
yeah, I did. Heather never wakes up to anything, but I woke up to the phone going off, and so I nudged Heather, and I'm pretty sure I said, "I don't want to answer it, you can answer it if you want," and passed the phone off to her, and she answered, and they asked, "We've got a boy that just came into care, and we need somebody to take him right away." And so we're like, "Okay, we'll do it." And they're like, "Okay, we'll be there in an hour." And we're like, "Whoa, okay."
It was the craziest thing. And we had some baby things. We had a crib, and we had some basic necessities, but overall we didn't have diapers or clothes or anything like that. And he didn't come with anything. He came with maybe an extra diaper, an extra outfit, and that was it. He didn't have anything, and it was a big shock.
Yeah. And when we got him, he was really, you could tell he wasn't very healthy. He was kind of curled up in a ball, just all big tight muscle, and so it was interesting to see the condition that he came to us in, and then throughout the whole experience, how much he's grown. But of course, we'll get to that. That's the happy part.
But he had a lot of challenges when he came to us, because his previous guardian at the time didn't take the best care of him. And so it was really difficult, us being very inexperienced parents, having to deal with his challenges and helping him overcome, because we didn't know anything. And thankfully the state had a lot of resources that helped us. He had torticollis that he had to overcome, and little by little you just saw this change in him. And even just simply weeks later, you could tell a difference, that he seemed more relaxed, he was smiling, he was happy, and he slowly seemed like he was normal, like he didn't have anything wrong.
I think it's important to note that he came from a guardian and not his birth mom. His birth mom gave him up to a guardian who had to give him up. So he had a rough start. And even within a week just of loving him, holding him, you could see him change a lot just in the first week. He loosened up a lot. So it was pretty obvious that he spent most of his life in a car seat or some sort of carrying device, and that was really what contributed to him being as tight as he was and underdeveloped. So it was interesting how he was so used to sitting in one of those kinds of things. So if we set him down, he never cried. I mean, he barely ever cried when we first got him, for the first few months, I think. But as he got used to that love, it really changed him a lot.
Yeah, he opened right up, and I mean, he had physical therapy every week, and it was a lot at first for us. It felt like he was at a lot of doctor's appointments, and we were his caretakers. Even though he was in the custody of the state, technically, we couldn't really make any decisions for him, but we were his caregivers at the time, and it was a lot, let's just say.
Yeah, it's hard because that's not what we expected with having our own children. You're doing all the work without being able to make decisions, without being able to do certain things that parents should be doing.
And all during this process, we knew going into it that reunification with his birth mom was the goal, and we were fully supportive of that. We knew that there was a chance that we could get really hurt and not see him grow up, that we could not see him get married. There were things that we took the risk and knew that we may never see him again.
She says she was fully supportive, but within a day she was like, I can't give him up.
We were so attached. I mean, how can you not? It's a baby. How can you not get attached? But he needed someone. I mean, we fully supported and loved him, and I was willing. We were willing and fought for his mother to get him, and we're hoping that she would, because we don't want to separate families. But there is that piece of you that doesn't want him to go, because you love him so much, and you've been involved in this process and done all this work with doctor's appointments and therapy, and helped him so much that you want to be there for everything. And so it was really difficult knowing in the back of your mind that this may not be forever. And it was really scary at times. But little by little, his mom would make decisions that weren't the best, and his mom eventually understood that he was best in our home, that we could fully give him everything that he needed, and that she, at the time of her life, wasn't able to do that. And I think it takes a lot for a mom to be able to give up her baby. And I'm gonna get emotional, but the love that she felt for him was so strong, and she knew that this was best for him. And that was just so hard to see, as a mother, just giving up your baby. And I think she tried. She just wasn't at a time of her life that she could give it her all at the time. And so little by little, things happened that we knew that, okay, this may be forever. And it's kind of becoming a reality that this could be forever. And they looked and looked for his dad, and they did not have success with that. And so little by little, we just felt, okay, we had more hope. So, which made it harder to possibly give up.
Yeah, it's important to note also that the parallels between Henry and Cade, as well as the things that stand in contrast. Look at the miracle it's been, and it's interesting to note that their due dates were so close, when they were born.
Yeah. Henry was due June of 2020, and there were several cousins on Ethan's side of the family that were all going to be very close, and we were so excited. We were all pregnant together and so excited that these cousins would be so close. And when we lost Henry, it was extremely hard because there went my hope of my baby being close to cousins, and it was hard to see Ethan's sisters continue to carry their babies, and that was so hard to see. But when we had Liam, he was born in the same year, just a few months later, and is still very close to those babies in age. And it really is a miracle to see the similarities between them, because they are all so close in age, born in the same year, and now Liam gets the opportunity to go be close to these cousins. So
it feels like it was meant to be. Henry paved the way for us to have Liam.
Yeah. So little by little, the birth mom made some decisions, and it came to a point where the social worker said, you can either give up your rights voluntarily as a mother, or the Department of Health and Welfare will take them away. And I imagine for her that was incredibly difficult. And she did in the end make the decision to voluntarily give up her rights as a mother, and allowed Liam to stay with us as a family. The time came in February that the mom gave up her rights, and at that time things started moving fairly quickly as far as an adoption day.
You also have to remember that they were still looking for family.
Yes, that's true.
Even after the mom's rights were terminated. And not only that, we were constantly receiving different information.
That's true.
One day we would hear, yeah, you guys are going to be the adoptive parents, and then next it would be, oh, we're going to try and find other family members. And it was just constantly back and forth. So
it was, in the moment, very scary.
The timeline was fairly quick.
Yes.
Not the experience.
Yes, it's very true. And that, yes, I should have clarified that, because that's true. It did feel like it was taking forever. When they finally scheduled a court date, June felt like forever away, and we were like, oh my gosh, so much can happen between now and June that it was very scary.
That
because
was what, April?
June came, and he's ours forever, and we had a lot of family at the court. It was very exciting. And and Liam, when he came to us, he was only 4 months old, and by the time he was adopted, he was about 1.5 years. And so he was old enough to interact with the judge and everyone there, and when everyone was clapping, he would clap, and it was just, he didn't know what was going on, but at the same time, it's like he knew. He knew that it was a happy occasion and that we should be happy, and he was smiling and clapping and didn't fully understand why, but he did almost understand.
And for us, I was surprised at how different it felt afterwards, because the day-to-day didn't change. He was always ours, and people would tell us that he's already yours. Honestly, it made me a little bit mad, because it's like, no, he's not, and it's going to change, and it did. It felt different. It felt like he was ours. Yeah. We didn't have that constant nagging feeling of, what if someone comes forward?
Yeah. We didn't need to ask for permission to cut his hair. Like, I was just so relieved. Like, we didn't have to ask for permission on the silliest little things that we did before, and we could make the decisions as parents, and it felt really good to be able to love him and care for him and not worry about someone else in the way. He's our miracle baby, and because of Henry, our also miracle baby, we've been able to have this family, and I can't imagine our life without Liam. He only knows us, his mom and dad, and loves Ethan, wants to be just like him, wears his hats all the time, and just, he's our baby. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, I love the point that Henry still was the miracle baby. We always thought he would be, and he was, just not in the way that we expected. So it's because of him that Liam's here.
Hearts arms, I'll carry yours. Come, rain or shine, I'll cover you up and calm the skies. As long as you are mine, I'll be there when you need me. You can count on it every time. It won't always be easy, just as sure as the sun will rise. I'll be there when you need me, with every tear that falls from your eyes. Oh, you have me completely. I'll be there when you need me.
Let me see. What is this? What is this? Oh. What is that? Say hi. You stinky.
You're drooling like crazy.
What's this on your hand?